What's up, bros? I'm Jawi. Today I will be comparing and explaining the differences between Flywheels and Spring Power Nerf Blaster. So let's get into it. So for this video, I'll be using the Rival Challenger to represent Flywheel Blaster and the Strike Elite Rampage to represent the Spring Power Blaster. I will go over their pros and my opinions. So starting with Flywheel Blaster, the main pro of the Flywheel Blaster is that it have a higher rate of fire since you only need to rev this rev trigger and then press the trigger to fire off. You doesn't need to prime with something, so it gives you extra rate of fire since you can pull the trigger very fast to increase your rate of fire. Unlike the Spring Power, we have to manually prime, which requires human energy, and this is just battery energy. And check out some full auto blasters. They have pretty quick rate of fires too, so this is definitely an advantage to the Flywheel Blaster. The second pro is that Flywheel Blasters usually have less jams, mainly because it's a battery power flywheel cage, and it's not human manual powered, so it often have less jams than like a Spring Power, since sometimes you'll probably stroke and it was susceptible to like jams, especially if you're using bad darts or bad magazines. So that's a pretty important if you're in a Nerf run, because it sucks for your blaster to suddenly jam in the middle of battle. So that's definitely another great thing about the Flywheel Blaster. Finally, the final pro for the Flywheel Blaster is it requires less human energy, because you only need to press the trigger to fire a dart instead of just priming over and over again, and it gets tiring, especially if you're using a Nexus Pro or Max Striker or others Spring Power high performance blaster. Your arms going to get sore, and your performance definitely going down, unlike the Flywheel Blaster, where you just gonna rev the trigger and press it to shoot off. Now going over the advantage of the Spring Power Blaster. First off, it's quieter, especially if you're playing like HVZ event or any stealth games. You definitely don't want your enemy to hear your Flywheel revving. So a pre-primed Spring Power Blaster can definitely give you an advantage when you're turning around corner. You can surprise the enemy by shooting them. So that's a pretty big advantage to a Spring Blaster. The second advantage is that it's pretty light, since it doesn't have batteries, so it's not that heavy compared to a Flywheel Blaster. We have a battery and a cage, something, etc. So it feels lighter and easier to carry, especially if you compare a Nerf Retaliator to a Rival Chaos. Rival Chaos requires like C or D batteries, which are pretty damn heavy. So that's a big advantage to the Spring Power Blaster. The final advantage of the Spring Power Blaster is that it costs less. It's cheap compared to the Flywheel Blaster, because the company definitely need to make the flywheel cage and sometimes the battery, so it's definitely costly. Unlike the Spring Power Blaster, which is they only need to make a shell, magazine, darts, and the internals. It doesn't need any batteries whatsoever. So that's worth mentioning. Not a big one, but it's definitely worth mentioning. So I'm an opinion, which one would I choose in a Nerf battle? Honestly, I like both. Both them pretty much ties in my place. They both have their main advantage and main disadvantage. So it's up to you to choose whatever you want to use. Hope I lay out enough information for you to make an educated purchase decision. If you want to buy either of these blasters, I will put purchase link down in the description below. That concludes of this video, and always bros, stay tactical.